Hi everyone, Norvex here. In the next patch, SBI is going to make some big changes to healing weapons. So I wanted to jump in the test server today and try out the Great Nature Staff. It's got some changes coming to some of the W skills and its E skill, as well as the Thorns Q being reworked. So I want to try that out in some PvE today. I'm going to clear some dungeons. But before I do that, I'll show you the patch notes here and go through what's going to change, and then we'll hop right into clearing dungeons.
Okay, so here we are. We got the patch notes up. So you can see nature staffs. They've removed the 50% damage reduction, so you can actually do some damage with them now. Thorns has been completely reworked. So instead of casting it on yourself now, you're going to throw it. It's in a 3-meter radius that lasts 4 seconds, and you can cast it up to 3 times in a row. Once you cast it 3 times, it goes on cooldown for 3 seconds, or if you don't cast all 3, it goes on cooldown 3 seconds after you cast the last one. Deals magical damage to anyone standing in it every half a second. Also applies the thorn charge to them every half a second. And that can stack up to 5 times. Slows them by 25%, which is super good. And then once your enemy has thorn charges on them, your normal attacks are going to do extra damage and consume a charge. So you can see here, they've actually tuned down the damage versus players on actually standing in the ability. They've tuned down the damage versus mobs. And they've increased the damage for every auto attack that consumes a stack. So it's a very good ability, especially as you'll see in the video, you can group up mobs and they take a bunch of damage because they're standing in 3 stacks of thorns, and you can keep your stacks up all the time for auto attacking. On some of the healing changes, they added a new Q slot ability called Rejuvenating Flower. So you can throw a flower out, you basically plant it in the ground, and the longer you let it grow, the more benefits you get. So you can see here, if you don't let it grow at all, you get a little bit of heal, and whoever you throw it at gets 1 stack. But if you let it go for 5 seconds, there's a bigger heal, and they'll get 3 stacks of rejuvenation. There's a new damage ability, or CC ability, called brambleseed on your W. You throw a big line in front of you, doing a little bit of damage. After a second, anyone still standing in it takes more damage and gets thrown in the air. So that's a pretty neat ability. And then Revitalize, the cooldown's been cut in half essentially. The channel duration has been reduced, and you use more energy per tick. Living Armor, there's no cast time now. The cooldown is reduced. The duration is reduced, however, but you also take more healing on each hit. And you can't stack this anymore. So that pretty much sums up all the changes. All I'm really going to be doing in the video today is looking at the new Brambleseed ability. I'm going to be using Living Armor, of course. And I'm going to be using the new Thorns ability to try and clear solo dungeons and open world mobs and just see how it works and see.
So here's the build I'm going to run today. I'm going to run a Cultist Cowl for some extra damage. I'm going to run a Cleric Robe for the survivability, as well as some Soldier Boots for escapability. Just to mirror kind of what I do on the live server if I was actually to run this build. I'm going to run the new Thorn skill. I'm going to try Brambleseed. I may have to switch to the 3rd W if I need some more survivability, but we'll see how it works out. I'm going to run the 3rd passive for some extra survivability. As far as cape goes, I'm going to use Thetford for some extra damage. I'm going to use Resist Potions, and I'm going to use Deadwater Eel Stew for extra cooldown reduction and damage. Note that this is on the test server, so I have max spec and everything, and I'm wearing T8 gear, so I'm 1500 IP. So this is going to clear a bit faster than if you say went out in 1300 IP when the patch hits. But it should be a decent idea of how things are going to work, how the skills work, and give you a good idea of if you can actually use this to clear solo dungeons or solo PV. Okay, so for my first test, I ran into this pack of a star mob and a circle mob, and I figured, why not? Let's dismount, see how it goes, see if I can kill these things. It didn't go very well, as you'll see, but I didn't die, so that was a plus. Shortly after that, I ran into another pack with a star mob and a circle mob. It went a lot better this time that I was used to how the skills worked, and I think this is definitely going to be a viable build for open world farming. And I don't think this is a T6 zone. I don't think you'd have any issue, say, killing a T8 star mob with this and keeping your health up. Especially later on in the video, I switched the W off of brambleseed because I find the healing is more worth it. And I think if I was running that skill, I wouldn't have even got below 80% health on this fight. And that's a really important thing when doing open world farming, is keeping your health high and not getting low to the point where someone can come up and one-shot you. Okay, so I got lucky right after clearing that pack and found this gold dungeon. This is in a T6 zone, and the mobs in here are going to be 84% stronger. So it's going to be a little rough, but it never got knocked down, and overall it went okay. But I'll show you the gameplay here, and I'll throw a timer up on the screen so you can see how long it took. Okay, so at this point in the dungeon, I started to get low quite a bit. I found I wasn't really able to use brambleseed much because I was only getting one mob at a time, and I had a lot going on anyway trying to keep my thorn stacks up. So I decided to switch it up to the third W for some extra resist and healing, and things started to go a lot better from here. Here's the first boss I run into. I end up killing in about 50 seconds. I never really get to the point where I have to reset or run away, so I was pretty impressed with the capability of the Great Nature to kill this boss. Like I said, in about 50 seconds he was down. So I ran around a bit more, ended up finding this blue solo dungeons. The mobs in here I believe are about 35% stronger. Not 100% sure. I think I showed the tooltip in the clip. But same as before, I'll put the timer up and we'll see how long it took to clear. Okay, so after that solo dungeon, I ran around trying to find some more. Ran across this pack of a couple circle mobs and an empowered mob, and figured I'd get some more footage of clearing open world packs. This one took a long time, and I was really only hitting one mob at once. It was hard to get them all grouped up and avoid the damage, but overall it went fairly well. And as you can see here, I never really got low health, and I still had my boots, I still had my cleric robe, so in a real scenario, I'd have a decent chance of getting away if someone ran up on me. So after clearing some more open world packs, which went fairly well, I was impressed. I ran up on this purple dungeon, so everything in here is 60% stronger. And same idea as before, timer up on the screen and I'll clear it and you can see how long it takes. This will be the last one I clear for the video. Okay, so that pretty much wraps up the video. I was very impressed with the clearing speed and the survivability, especially on the staff. I was able to make a lot of mistakes and recover from them, where a lot of builds that clear at the speed, you cannot make mistakes because one mistake means you have to reset. So that was a big plus. I'll see if I can put out a PvP video on this. There's not a whole lot of action on the test server except corrupted dungeons, which I'm not a big fan of, but I'll see what I can find here. Anyway, if you liked the video, please leave a like. Other than that, have a good one and see you in the next one.